how do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
I haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet, but we know that fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14 to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Floyd Mayweather has once again turned the boxing world upside down by calling out Jake Paul, following the shocking cancellation of Gervonta "Tank" Davis's upcoming fight. The bout was scrapped due to Tank's mounting legal troubles, and Mayweather wasted no time stepping into the spotlight. The legendary boxer made it absolutely clear, if Jake is still willing, he's ready to fight him himself, and this time, it wouldn't be just another exhibition. Floyd stated that if this match happens, it will be a real professional fight, fought under authentic boxing rules. He even emphasized that he's not planning to move up or adjust weight, implying that Jake will have to meet him where he stands. The announcement instantly sent shockwaves through the boxing community, igniting heated debates and wild speculation among fans. Many are now wondering if Floyd is truly gearing up for a legitimate return to the ring, or if this is another one of his tactical power moves to remind the world that he still runs the show.
But at the time, people badly wanted you and Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in, or no?
Well, you know, if you go back, you got to do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money.
Following the lawsuit and the investigation involving Davis, a highly anticipated Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis exhibition has been officially cancelled. Davis's promoter, Most Valuable Promotions, the same team that represents Jake Paul, released a formal statement confirming that, given the nature of the allegations and the ongoing legal process, they could not in good conscience move forward with the event. The statement cited the company's commitment to integrity and responsibility, noting that the fight would be postponed indefinitely until the matter is resolved.
The situation, he was supposed to be boxing Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a tweet I'm reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December, with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. Sources tell Ring magazine that December 12th and the 19th.
According to court documents, Davis is now facing a serious civil lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend, Courtney Rosal, over an alleged incident that took place on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she works. The lawsuit accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Rosal's complaint details disturbing claims, alleging that Davis dragged and assaulted her through multiple areas of the venue, from the stairwell and kitchen to the parking garage. Authorities in Miami Gardens have confirmed that a separate criminal investigation is ongoing alongside the civil case, casting further uncertainty on Davis's immediate boxing future.
Boxing champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul.
MMA veteran and analyst Chael Sonnen has also weighed in on the chaotic situation. Sonnen revealed that he personally reached out to both Jake Paul's camp and Davis's representatives to verify whether the cancellation rumors were true. However, neither side offered a direct answer. Their silence, Sonnen explained, only fueled suspicions that something major was unfolding behind the scenes. He suggested that when both fighters and their teams avoid confirming or denying a cancellation, it usually means the issue runs much deeper than scheduling, pointing towards serious legal or contractual complications that the public isn't yet aware of.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I have an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in, I want to say it was like 8.
With Davis's fight now effectively off the table, Floyd Mayweather wasted no time stepping in and publicly challenging Jake Paul. Floyd, never one to mince words, has been openly dismissive of Jake's boxing credentials. While he acknowledges Paul's entertainment value and crossover success, Mayweather insists that Jake is not a legitimate boxer. He described a potential fight with Paul as too easy, suggesting that the YouTuber-turned-boxer lacks the skills, discipline, and experience needed to compete with someone of his caliber. Floyd has long maintained that while Jake has carved out a profitable niche, facing a world-class fighter would brutally expose the difference between hype and actual boxing pedigree.
There were many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents, or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know, where his mindset's at.
Mayweather's comments also touched on his own legacy and on Jake's habit of choosing opponents well past their prime or far smaller in size. He warned that Jake's string of victories means little when the competition isn't truly on his level. Mayweather also reminded fans that he himself rarely entertained rematches, leaving behind a career with very few what-ifs. In contrast, he hinted that Jake's career thrives more on entertainment and showmanship than real competition, predicting that once Paul steps into the ring with a legitimate fighter, his weaknesses will be laid bare.
The question is just with like Logan Paul and then Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer, what do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
Some analysts, however, have used this moment to revisit what truly made Floyd Mayweather one of the greatest. Fighters like Tony Jeffries have emphasized that Floyd's strength was never just his lightning-fast reflexes or impenetrable defense, it was his mental game. His supreme confidence, his ability to believe he could outthink and outfight anyone, gave him control before the first punch was even thrown. That self-belief, Jeffries argues, is what made Floyd unbeatable in his era and continues to set him apart, even years after retirement.
Really confident, they really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about what Floyd has got.
You fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work harder. If you think about losing, you're gonna lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of And
recent reports suggest Mayweather might also be eyeing a potential fight with Mike Tyson, a rumor that has stunned fans and analysts alike. Many see this not merely as another money grab, but as a bold power move, a statement that Floyd still commands the spotlight in any boxing conversation. With the Jake Paul vs. Davis spectacle dominating headlines, Floyd seems determined not to let even his former protege steal his thunder. Observers say this is classic Floyd, a master of timing, publicity, and legacy management. His rumored fight with Tyson may symbolize something larger, the ongoing rivalry among boxing legends to remain relevant in a rapidly changing era dominated by influencers and crossover stars.
Many celebrities and so many people that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. So there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about whether...
Meanwhile, sources close to Jake Paul's camp report that Most Valuable Promotions has begun reaching out to alternative opponents. Among the names allegedly floated is none other than Terrence Crawford, one of the sport's most elite and technically gifted champions. While discussions are still in the early and speculative stages, just the possibility of Jake facing a fighter of Crawford's caliber has stunned fans and critics alike. If realized, it would represent a massive step up for Paul, moving from spectacle fights to serious competition. However, as of now, no contracts have been signed, and Crawford's team has remained tight-lipped, leaving the boxing world in suspense.
Technically scheduled for November 14 to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terrence Crawford, Francis Ngannou, I mean, come on, we'll get into them, and Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough to be jumping in with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good-looking kid, great fighter, fast stands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia would go in against Jake Paul. But to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else we've got? Terrence Crawford. I can't see Terrence Crawford entertained in this, but then you never know, do you? If the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terrence Crawford's getting on now, what is he, 37, 38 years old, had that great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terrence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him. He's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua. That never happened, did it? It was a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight, he's already fought him. It was a rubbish.
Not everyone was thrilled about the original Jake Paul versus Davis matchup to begin with. Former world champion Carl Froot bluntly dismissed the bout as rubbish, arguing that it lacked authenticity and competitive value. Froot criticized Jake for being a showman, not a boxer, and insisted that pitting him against a proven fighter like Davis was a mismatch that insulted serious fans. In his view, the spectacle might generate headlines, but it does nothing to uphold boxing sporting integrity or respect for real competition.
Absolute clown world, really fitting for fake Paul, the clown, because it's a clown show. You're putting him in with somebody who's 100 pounds lighter. I mentioned the weight disparity before, getting on for 7 stone. It's a weight-governed sport. It should not be happening. He's too small, Gervonta Davis, against the big Jake Paul, who's in the gym a lot, training. Apparently he's fit and strong and he has a go and he can fight a little bit, which I disagree with, because I don't think he can. He might be able to fight a little bit. He certainly can't box. But these allegations against Gervonta Davis, they're very serious allegations. Anybody that's laying hands on women needs to be shut down straight away. They need to be, for me, they need to be locked.
Echoing similar sentiments, Amir Khan blasted the proposed fight as dangerously unfair, labeling it a mismatch that borders on exploitation. Khan argued that allowing Jake Paul, who reportedly walks around at over 200 pounds, to face Davis, a natural 135 to 140 pound fighter, is reckless and irresponsible. He likened it to sending a smaller man in for punishment and questioned whether Davis's motivations were purely financial, suggesting that perhaps Tank simply wanted to cash out and move on.
He gets on my nerves a little bit. I think the way he looks himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well, and he thinks he can fight, and he's only been boxing for what, like a year. But he's been very lucky though. He has he's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on. Just
still, some critics argue the fight didn't need to be cancelled at all. They point out that many athletes have competed while facing active charges and claim that the decision was more about public relations than principle. These fans argue that if Davis remains physically fit and willing to fight, the promoters should have let the show go on. However, others counter that the seriousness of the allegations made cancellation unavoidable, that proceeding could have created a public relations nightmare and potentially damaged everyone involved. The debate has split the boxing community right down the middle.
Did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul and his team at Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section. We'll probably do a longer video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you.
So now the question remains, should Floyd Mayweather truly step in to fight Jake Paul himself, or should the promoters wait until Gervonta Davis clears his legal issues and the original match can be revived? Fans are divided, analysts are speculating, and the boxing world is buzzing with possibilities. What do you think? Is this Floyd's moment to reclaim the spotlight, or is Jake Paul about to face his biggest reality check yet? Share your thoughts below.